This week on Hey USA, we're riding the rails to the sports book.
Welcome back to another episode of the Hey USA podcast. My name is Nick Garcia, senior reporter at Play USA, and with me, as always, Brant James, lead writer of Play USA. Brant, Nickel G's this weekend, or like as you like to call it, nice legs.
Nice legs.
How was it?
It was an interesting conference in Massachusetts, about a 20-minute walk from the State House, where the legislators there have still got to work out sports betting. They've got a couple of competing House and Senate bills, and looking at the clock there, they've got a couple of weeks to get it figured out before the session ends. So it was a topical discussion and a pertinent place for it to be.
I feel like a lot of states are always last minute before the clock runs out, try to get it done. Has there ever been a state where it's just like, nope, we did it first, we did it right, did it the way it was supposed to be, and it's there for your pleasure?
Maybe, I'm not going to say for sure, but maybe West Virginia. Didn't West Virginia pass a bill and before PASPA, and it was just sort of hovering there, much like, not trying to be political, but like the abortion laws that are trigger laws that have happened in many states. Yeah. I think West Virginia was just sitting there with the switch, just waiting for the go.
Yeah, the last Nickel G's we went to was here in Chicago, which was kind of nice. Any interesting topics? What were some of the highlights there?
Yeah, the high points. What was one of the earlier sessions? There was a discussion of tribal gaming and iGaming, casino gaming. There was a one panelist named was Gerald Evans. He was a lawyer, a longtime tribal lawyer. He'd worked for the Bureau of Indian Affairs as a lawyer there. And he was drawing a line from some of the recent Supreme Court cases that deal with tribal sovereignty, and had some dire thoughts on how that was going to impact tribal gaming in the future. He also said that he believed that Judge Dabney L. Friedland's decision to invalidate the Seminole Tribe of Florida's pact with the state of Florida was an unjust decision, shot down the judge's ideas about legal fiction, and said that in cases of ambiguity, that the court should side with the tribes. And the point there was the Indian Gaming Regulatory Act, IGRA, could not have envisioned an internet when it was written in 1988. So this pact should have stood, including the controversial hub and spoke model, which reverberated all the way back down here to Florida, because I had some emails waiting for me when I arrived.
Tribal gaming, especially on just any gambling front, sports betting has been the main one. It's always interesting how compacts and those things get figured out. We had the tribal down in Florida that created a ruckus. There's currently some stuff going down in Michigan right now with tribal and trying to get new casinos and getting sovereign and things like that. So I can imagine that Nickel G's in the next couple of years, tribal gaming and all that stuff is still going to be a topic of discussion.
Yeah, and then some news happened concurrent to the conference that didn't necessarily come out of there. The U.S. District Court of Appeals agreed to the timetable that the plaintiffs, the West Flagler Associates, the ones who sued to get the compact shot down, and the defendants, the Department of the Interior and the Seminoles, there's a timetable. They will begin arguing with each other August 17th. The briefs will be delivered to the court, and then we will begin grinding. It still could take years, probably going to end up in the aforementioned Supreme Court. Who knows what will happen there, but at least there is a beginning of the beginning to the far off end.
Nice. So moving on, while you're in Boston, did you check out Fenway Park?
Oh, of course I did. I was there Saturday night. I had some incredible tickets that I got during the lockout for face value somehow, and I plopped down in my seat surrounded by Yankee fans. I guess the Boston fans take the cheap seats, but I was surrounded by Yankee fans. But they're a fairly nice, chilled out lot, so we enjoyed the game, and it was a good time I had by.
Was that game the right field? Was it right field blunder by the? Who's the Sox right fielder? Lost it in the.
No. I was sitting at the Win Encore Boston when that would happen. That was I believe that was Arroyo. That muffed it. It didn't even touch it. I was there for the Verdugo had the huge game. Yanks score twice in the top of the 10th to take the lead, and then the Red Sox win, partly powered by Jeter Downs, the Red Sox new perhaps phenom.
Nice. But being so close, I mean, being in Boston, being in Massachusetts, you also were able to cross off another state for sports betting. Is that correct?
You are correct, and yet you are not, because I crossed off 2 states.
2. Okay.
2
Give us the
states.
details. Give us the details.
I got super ambitious. So Thursday, after bravely waking up at 4 a.m. and indulging in air travel, you never know how that's going, land in Boston, and I check in to the hotel, walk back through the Back Bay area, through Chinatown, got some delicious dim sum, not going to lie, it was very good. Catch an Amtrak train south to Providence, Rhode Island.
Ooh.
To cross that state off my list. Now, I could have, as soon as I got south of Pawtucket, if I wanted to download the Sportsbook Rhode Island app, I could have just placed my bet there and just waited for a train to come on back. But I did not want to download that app. I did not want to start another account. So I grabbed an Uber and I headed on out to the Bally's Twin River Casino in Lincoln, I think it's called, a refurbished dog track. So I ended up there. The place is quite smoky. I walked and walked and walked, hoping that security wouldn't bust me because I was carrying a backpack, and that sign right there clearly said no backpacks. So I find my way to the very back of the casino, and it's kind of sad. They've stuffed the sports book in the old Greyhound grandstand. So if there were tellers, I didn't see them. So there were kiosks back in the corner, like stacked up chairs in the ballroom after the parties, after the wedding reception is over. I go to hit up the ATM machine, denied. A little panic. What's going on here? Go to another machine, another card, denied. Sweating a little bit. I come all the way freaking down here. This needs to work because I don't carry cash. I just don't. It's ridiculous.
Who does? Who
carries cash? So third one denied, and I'm kind of freaking out, and I'm a little pissed because I don't know what's happening. I check my bank account. There's money in there. So I go to the cashier's window. The man, very nice man, hooks me up with some money off my credit card, placed 2 bets, immediately lost. Red Sox lost, and then I put a couple bucks on the Capitals win the Stanley Cup, so I'll have to wait until next spring for that one to fail. So there you go. Crossed Rhode Island off, got back into the heart of town, very quiet, a little bit boring kind of a place, and got on the train and off I went. I took some video. If you want to run some video, we maybe splice that together.
Yeah, let's check it out.
We're on the train to Rhode Island to bet on sports. Technically, we're in the bathroom of the train going to Rhode Island to bet on sports. Okay, mission completed. We had to run out to the casino because the mobile think's not so good in Rhode Island, but got some bets in, including one on the Red Sox tonight. All right, it's been a long day, but that's what we do here at HeyUSA. We walk the miles to inform you about what betting is like in the United States. If you were in Massachusetts, you got to really hope that the legislators get their act together and legalize sports betting, because if you want to do it legally, you got to go to Rhode Island. You got to ride a train, you got to drive your car, and you got to download the Bally's app, and you got to do it legally. Or you can do what I did, and you can go to the Twin Rivers Casino. You can suck up a whole bunch of smoke, and you can make your app some bets on some kiosks. If you want to do that, that's fine too. I'm sure the folks in Massachusetts, home of DraftKings, home of a lot of sports teams that folks like to bet on, would like to just do it there on their phone. So anyway, it's been a long day, but up since 4. Woohoo for me. Traveled to Boston, got on the train, went to Providence, Rhode Island. It's a little boring here. I'm about to get back on the train and go to Boston, where someone will probably punch me right in the face, and I'll get what I ask for. See ya.
So I'm a bit surprised that you didn't bet on the Orioles, because they completely decimated the White Sox when they played them. But there was a second state. What was the second state? This one, I got a little ambitious, and I almost talked myself out of it, because there were 2 museums in Boston that I really wanted to go to on Sunday, and I had an 8:00 flight out of Logan, and I could have just done it, but I said, no, in pursuit of hashtag content,
And for all that is holy, play USA, hey USA, I am going to New Hampshire. Now, I knew with New Hampshire, again, another train ride, all I had to do was get in over the line, get over past Newburyport, as they call it up there, and Haverhill, home of Rob Zombie. I just found that out when I was on the train Googling. DraftKings app is going to work. I can get back on and come out. But I said, no, if I'm here, I'm going to go see something. There's a casino in Seabrook, New Hampshire called The Brook. They must have thought all day about that name. It, too, is a refurbished Greyhound track. Got a little casino in there. It has a DraftKings sports book. I'm thinking, if I'm here, just go. Now, my concern was that airplane's taking off at 8 o'clock, and I knew for a fact that the place I was going, Exeter, is in the middle of freaking nowhere. And when I called up the Uber app, there was like one lonely little car circling around that previous night. So I was told by the PR guy at the Brook that Lyft is a little better. So I downloaded that app, got it ready to go, scheduled a ride in. Little nervous about it, but I said, okay, let's go. So 8:50 a.m. train, hit the Dunkin' Donuts line. No, hit the Dunkin' line, get on the train underneath of TD Garden. Boom, heading up there. Beautiful, beautiful train ride. Got these ladies from Mississippi talking about the brunch that they're going to have in Maine later on that day. They're going all the way to frickin' Maine. Jeez. So it's about an hour. It's leisurely checking emails, and train stops at Exeter. All right, let's get off of here. It's nice, quaint little New England town, an outdoor, really small concrete flat, platform.
Yeah.
There's like a little grocery store there that has a restaurant in it, and a little coffee shop and an Ace Hardware, and it's so quiet you can literally hear the birds. And I'm thinking, I was instantly nervous because I as soon as I get off the train, push notification from Lyft, your ride is canceled. So slight bit of panic. I got a few hours. Yeah. I got a few hours. Not to belabor the story, back on Uber, always go with Uber. I found David. Thank you, David. It took him 35 minutes to get to me. He was that far away. He was far away. He was the only active Uber driver. Got me out to the casino, took a little tour of the place. Thank you, The Brook, showing me all your amenities out there. Placed a few bets in the DraftKings Sportsbook on a very comfortable leather couch, and couldn't get an Uber back. So I got kind of jacked on the local cab company from Massachusetts to take me back to Exeter. But I made it.
So you went from hotel, train, Exeter, Uber from there to the casino, cab back to Exeter, then back on the train back to Massachusetts?
Yes, back on the train back to Massachusetts, got out at North Station again. I had a certain timetable to make it to the airport. I'm thinking, be lazy and Uber it. And I was like, no, just walk. Because I'd only gone through Boston Common once. Walk back to Back Bay, got my bag, got in another Uber, and made it in plenty of time. So live your dream, kids. It all works out every single time.
That is quite the ambitious story. I mean, I still harker back to our attempt to try to go place bets while we were in New York City. But I feel like that's a Jersey thing. That was a Jersey issue.
It was.
But yeah, that's great that you're able to. I mean, that's the transit system in the Northeast is built for that type of stuff. So that's kind of cool.
It was phenomenal.
Yeah. Well, I would say for my end, while you're out doing all this, I'm over here watching the White Sox just completely fall apart, and it's just been disappointment after disappointment. While you're riding the highs, I'm down here, riding the lows.
Yeah. I don't know what's going on with your White Sox. I definitely had the better time there. I was sitting in a cushy seat with some Wi-Fi, with just watching the scenery go by. And meanwhile, you're sitting there just watching the season go by.
Yeah. Now, just on the topic of conferences and stuff, real quick, what's the next one that you got on your list that our viewers and listeners can
Yeah, I'll be heading to way upstate New York in August, Saratoga Sports Betting and Racing Conference. Unbelievably, we're going to talk about horses and the sports betting and casino industry. If it can work out, I've got another trip planned. I already have my next trip planned. I want to try to make a jaunt to Montreal to see what's going on with the gambling scene up there. It's only 3 hours in a car. Well, metric, it's probably only 2 hours and 75% of another hour. I don't know what the conversion is.
We'll definitely touch on that when that comes around. I I'd say on my end, not much for gambling space. As I mentioned before, I'll drop a link to a story in the description about tribal struggles in Michigan to get a casino off the ground. The Little River Band of Ottowa Indians are currently, one, trying to get a casino built, but two, also trying to get federally recognized by the Department of the Interior. There's a process that tribes have to go through to get federally recognized. Currently, they have been denied. They've been waiting for almost 30 years. So the governor of Michigan kind of said, no, until you guys are federally recognized, you can't build a casino. So that's currently the issue going on in Michigan. And then other than that, kind of just on the, casino stock train, a lot of mergers and acquisitions taking place. So I will also drop links in the description below for that. But in the meantime, it's baseball season, almost the All-Star break. You a big fan of the All-Star game, Brant?
It's the best of all the All-Star games. I love it. Home Run Derby coming up. Alonso's going to be in it again. It's great. Love it.
Maybe we'll chat a little bit about that, leading up to it. We can talk about whatever we want to on this podcast. So let's do a thing. For me, that's it. That's all I got for today. Brant, what about yourself? Anything you want to end on?
I'm tired. I'd like to get back on the train, take a nap.
All right. As always, like, follow, subscribe, and follow us on Twitter. Send us an email, anything like that. You want to hear about us, and we will catch you guys on the next one.